And welcome to another Burn the Stockpile. This is Jupiter from Manlius, New York, and I have with me my sidekick.
Dominic from Ottawa, Ontario, Canada.
Yeah, so today we are finishing up the year, which was really just a quarter or so of a year, right? Like it wasn't too much. But this will be the last episode of Burn the Stockpile for this season. So hopefully you guys are spending time with your families and enjoying the holidays. I'm sure that Dominic will be busy as he is a family-centric person as well.
100%. I don't have any kids yet, so I'm not. I don't have small ones running around. Not like yourself, but I'll be there in a few years.
Yeah, good, good. It's a very worthwhile experience. But with all that said, we figured in the spirit of the season, we would end with the last house we haven't covered yet, which is Mars. And in the spirit of the season, generosity being the key of it, we would do Martian generosity. So Dominic, why don't you bring us in on this?
All right, yeah. So we are covering Martian Generosity. I hear it's a card that some people like, maybe a few people like. So we thought, hey, let's not. Why don't we do this one? And so Martian Generosity, it's by an artist. He goes by John Doe for his actual artist name when you look it up on ArtStation. And I don't think he'll mind, but his actual name is Marco Fiedler, and he's from Vespeg, Germany, and of course I butchered the name for the location. But he's done actually quite a few cards for Keyforge. If you look at his stuff on Arcana, you can see the various cards that he's covered. So quite a few Martian cards, Sauron cards, and a few other cards in between. As for this card itself, it's a lot of fun. There's a lot of little things in it, so I'll pick out one of the items that pops out right away, and that's the little um, sanctum that you see in the bottom left hand corner, just on top of the price. You just have the little sanctum toy that's on top of the price that is being shown there. And Martians are always generous, so you got this Martian soldier just pulling at this alien's tie, and it's just a fun piece of art. Lots to cover here. So there's a few different houses that you can see in the picture. Some great coloring and lighting effect going on in here, but not to hog up too much of the items. That's just a little bit of the intro. I'll throw it over to Jupiter, and then we'll go back and forth a bit here.
All right, so I'm just getting Harlan situated with his Super Y here. But the artist here did actually nail the color palette. I think it's really very bright and awesome, even though the Martian looks really ticked off. I want to know what this negative 2,306.99 is about, if because he looks like he's on the consumer side of this. And so, like, if I was paying less than zero for anything, like if I got $2,306 credit, or maybe he's trading in something and like he doesn't feel he got a fair shake on it. I don't know. But that price is just interesting. I would like to know the story behind that. And you hear Harlan serenading me with Super Y at this point. So, uh, and then you have the shadow eggs over there on the shelf behind the Martian as well. I think that those are pretty interesting. You see the three dot symbol, so those are it's probably some kind of like you know stealth mechanism or something. I can't imagine what it would be. But overall, like he's got good perspective. Like he brings you into it using this straight on linear perspective. He's pulling you into the shop basically, and then you have a good like sequence of action here with a good tug on the tie to like pull this thing into the glass and smush its face there with its teeth and stuff showing. It's pretty dynamic. I find it interesting that in his comment section for this on ArtStation it says one of my favorite cards. I love the painting from a guy named Omer Sharon, and then he replies with, "Glad you like it, but don't know the card or its effect or the game for that matter." So like somehow without really knowing anything about what Martian generosity is supposed to be about or like anything like that, I think he kind of nailed the idea and the core concept of it, even though he didn't really know what it was.
I think you mentioned something exactly there, and we'll probably segue here. I actually believe so. Looking at this picture, it says that he illustrated this from 09 2018. So I believe that the artist is being truthful here, that he actually didn't really know the game that well, and it may or may not have been called Keyforge at the time that he initially got the project. It may have been, but for those that didn't know, the original name of Keyforge is escaping me. I should know this trivia, but it went by a different name, and I'm sure we'll edit in the name, or Jupiter will throw it in here in a bit. But Richard Garfield, it went by a different name initially, so he may not have even known that. He may have just been asked to come on. And the concept part, I think the only thing that he may have seen was that the concept art from the original Keyforge that was done by David Kaeg, and show. If you look at the Martian pictures of and the concept art from that, it's this picture of the Martian looks similar to the old school, but Martians are all clones. A lot of the Martian art looks very similar, and we'll talk about that in a bit. So I think that's why he mentioned that, because this is one of the very first cards I think that he did, even though it didn't come out into Age of Ascension. So the second set of Keyforge here. Um, but some other stuff that is interesting is as well is that I love that this shopkeeper, like I said, it's getting his face smushed in. But if you look around, I'm fairly positive that it's a general store, which is obvious by the various items. It looks like he has some booze on the top shelf, some sort of item, and then some more booze at the bottom, books and various things that people can buy. But if you look around, uh, there's pictures of the store owner, and either the store or his name is called Zol, is what I'm getting from it. And he's just giving the thumbs up. So I just love that there's pictures of the store owner here. And I think that may be the name of the shop, just some little bit of self advertising. I don't know why you need to advertise it, or maybe it's saying that that's like his sale or whatnot. Speaking about the price that Jupiter mentioned, when you read the flavor text for this, it just has some fun stuff. He's like, "Forgive me, I misspoke. 30, no, 40% discount." So I feel like the Martian was coming in very hot-headed and was like, "Hey, I want to buy this stuff. I'm going to show you my generosity. I'm going to probably, turn you to dust." And so now this guy's trying to give him a massive discount. So whatever the price originally was, I think he gave him more than 30 or 40% discount. He's like, "Hey, look, I'll give you my money. I'll give you my amber bits." And so that's why it's a negative price in this case.
Interesting. So in the name of collateral damage, he probably thought maybe it was worth paying this Martian to take the things he wanted and just get out of the store without destroying anything. Concept.
100%, 100%. That's what I would do.
Yeah, I guess so. But at that point, I don't know if I would want Martians around anymore. But we also another interesting thing that came out to me in this piece is you see the vial, the green vial with the serum again. This seems to be a very common thing around town. So like whatever this vial was, like we've talked about it with Rad Penny, we talked about it in Logos, like in the and Fila, like this mutagenic serum or whatever this serum is, it seems to be quite the hot commodity in the Crucible. It seems like it's in a lot of places, so probably something for daily life, almost like our milk or something. Like it seems. So it's interesting that it just shows up so much, and I don't know what you think about that, but like I think it's kind of the similar kind of thing, right? So.
I actually think you mentioned a good point here. I think that there's a lot of little hidden gems within Keyforge art that we don't pick up into a little bit later. Speaking of which, I think that is probably one of those vials, and I think this is probably in Hub City, just the main district there. And he's like, "Oh, hey, just I like how it's just kind of cornered in." the bottom shelf there. And when you think about it a little bit more, you see those vials, and just a little bit above it, you see the shadow symbols. I was like, those things seem to go hand in hand. So maybe this Martian's coming in because he knows this shopkeeper has a few little hidden gems that he's like, hey, here's some hints of stuff, but he might be looking for some either biological warfare weapons, or maybe he's coming to get those vials himself. Who knows? I don't think he's just coming to get a Martian snack or anything like that. I think there's a reason why he came in, and it's for specific destructive weapons, as Martians are known for getting.
That's fair enough. These Martians kind of make me think of the Mars Attacks movie in some ways. Even though like in Mars Attacks, obviously the Martians' heads are a lot more cartoony. Like these guys kind of just relate to me the way that those Martians are. So um, you can bet that that's going to be clipped in somewhere. But like there's plenty of like Martian tendencies with the way that these Martians are designed, and I know that you have a couple of other art that you want to bring up that kind of highlights these features and stuff. So I'll let you take that away. But before we go to that too, I just find it interesting that bobblehead dolls are very prominent. It looks like in the Crucible as well.
Hey, I'm just telling Fantasy Flight Games, if you make a bobblehead of basically any house, but specifically should be Brobnar, not Sanctum or Mars. But if you make a bobblehead, I will probably buy it. But hey, that's just me. But getting back into it, I think you nailed right on the head when you said that it looks like Mars Attack. I love that movie, by the way. And getting back to the original concept. David Cage mentioned in his comments about the concept art that they wanted to bring in the retro iconic look of the little green Martian man in the flying saucer, stepping it into the Keyforge universe. So they use retro tropes, trim off some of the cheesiness, and gave it some more of the Keyforge flair. So that's a little bit of a quote from his concept art, of David Cage's concept art going into it. And then as far as the Martian generosity, I want to cover a little bit that all the Martians, as you expect, as from what you watch in movies and whatnot, and in Keyforge, the Martian soldiers are all like clones of each other. And though they're clones, this one I would say has been the Martian soldier for a little bit now. He looks a little bit older. I don't know how you can get that from the Martian faces, but to me, this one looks like he's a little bit older, because if you look at his mouth area, his face, he actually has like what looks like wrinkles, maybe a little bit of scars, but I think it's just mostly wrinkles. And in his neck, he just looks like his skin, like he's been uh, a little bit older. Maybe he's 2 to 3 years old instead of just a couple of months, because they're all clones and they come out like this. But if I want to compare this, when you look at more of Marco's work from Exterminate, and Entropic, you get a little bit of comparison to the faces. And I like the expressions that he uses in these pieces of art. Most of the time very angry. So in Martian Generosity, he's quite angry, showing his teeth. In Exterminate, you got the Martians. They're all a little bit excited, but upset, and trying to exterminate all these alien creatures, because Martians are the only race. They're the dominant race, of course. And then in Entropic, I love that the fact that the Martian is a little bit different in this one. He has a surprise look. He's like, oh, I didn't. It's almost like he wasn't realizing that his whatever he has on his wrist was going to go off in this ways, and he's curious about doing it. But when comparing the three faces, I get the sense that in Martian Generosity, this is a little bit of an older Martian soldier, having that iconic ear, where it's just like a little small little lobe like that, and but showing a little bit of teeth, like you see in Exterminate, and they all look similar. They all have that the clone look to him, but he looks like he's been around for a little bit longer. And yeah, it's an interesting concept of the Martians in general. And I also find it interesting because I was looking at the various cards in the game and the various art, and I don't think we've seen this Martian before. I don't think it's one of the Martians that we know, even though they have really weird and long names. And his armor that he's wearing looks slightly different than any of the armor or packs that I've seen on the other Martians when I took a quick look. I don't know. What do you think about that yourself, Jupiter?
I don't think the armor looks that different. It looks pretty much in. I think it looks pretty much similar to the others. It is different, like a different style pack because the liquid or whatever it is that is in the container that is on the pack is on the like back side of it. So that is different.
Mm.
Like it's not on the top like normal. So that's that's interesting. A little bit about the facial and the thing that you're talking about in Martian Generosity. I don't know if it's necessarily that he's older, but I think he uses these like the muscles in the face and in the neck area to kind of dictate the fact that he's angry and he's talking. Like like when you scrunch up because you're angry and you're like, oh god, I'm gonna kill you, and then like that's what I feel from that, right? Like, and I feel like that's what his face is expressing because when you look at the ones that you were talking about, like the exterminate, like they're like doing things, but they're still enjoying it, like you said, sort of, and like they're not angry, so they still have the tension because they're fighting, right? So you got that grunt tension, but you don't have the the super tension like in generosity. And then you look at the what is this one? Exterminate? No, this is entropic manipulator. Entropic manipulator. Like he's using the same muscles, but this time he's using them as a factor. Like everything is elevated and pushed up because he's in shock, like you said. So I don't know if there's actually age difference, but I think that he does capture the spirit of the Martians, a simple design face, and uses the muscle structure underneath to highlight um, the mood or the expression that these Martians are coming across, and I think he does a fantastic job of that.
Yeah, 100%, and I think you're probably right with that. And again, that would correlate back to the Martian generosity of like, hey, he's showing two faces in here, so you have the Martian's face showing a lot of expression, and of course, this alien's creature's face being shoved against the till here against the actual window, not the window till, but the actual
The glass.
glass.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And it's like,
and
and you have two references to his face too by putting these stickers around, right? Because you see what he should look like, and now you see how much he's being crushed in with his nose being pushed up and everything. Like he's really getting like pulled into that glass. And in a COVID area, that glass is everywhere, so it's super scary to think about somebody doing this to somebody.
this is true. I didn't even think about the COVID aspect. I guess that's a funny little thing. And one last thing I wanted to mention, and if you have anything else before we move on here, is I just absolutely love, and I don't know if you saw this, but I love that his hair. He just has a lot of hair, but if you look at his hair just above his where his face is getting smashed in, his hair basically turns into his nose. Like he has these two little things that are sticking out, and I believe that's his actual like nose area, and that's like nose hair that's coming out. I could be completely wrong here, but that just looks funny to me.
Nose hair are boogers, right? Like maybe he's getting smashed so hard that like snot's coming out of his nose, like some kind of slime. I don't know, but yeah, he's definitely like everything in this picture just says there's like a tremendous amount of force being applied here to this poor guy's face as he's pulled in by this Martian, and I'm guessing maybe you're right. Maybe that's why like it's minus 2,306.99. Maybe the guy wants him out just for collateral damage purposes because he looks like he's doing business. Like he's here for a purpose, and like he's not happy with the results.
Yeah, 100%. So, unless you got anything else, we can move on to comparing it to the cards here.
Yeah. I don't got anything else other than like, did you want to go over some more of his cards and stuff, like Marco Fielder's cards?
Yeah,
Fielder.
we can go over some of his cards. So, for the viewers, like I was saying, he's covered a lot of fun Keyforge cards, a lot of ones that I actually adore and find quite interesting. And I don't know, what do you think about his art style and what he's worked on, Jupiter?
I think for Keyforge, he's stayed to a very specific style, and like it's very Keyforge. Like it almost defines Keyforge. And he looks like the kind of artist that's going to be around for a while because he's been in every set. So he's definitely one of the ones that they turn to, and he's done some really cool and notable works, like things like standardized testing, transporter platform. When you put them all together with Martian Generosity, Nerosaurus, like all these cards like that, Key Frog, like you kind of see the style, like it kind of resonates throughout them, and yet they're very different because of the house differences, right? Even like Harbinger of Doom, like he has the jovial element, but we know that that card is actually not great for that poor kid that's running towards this happy demon that's like pretending to be a good thing, right? So like I don't know, like I think he nails his style like very consistently, and I think he's very good at Easter eggs and putting like fun other things in his art, because every piece that I see has something interesting. And I have to say that my favorite piece that he's done is Agent Who, man. Like that, I love Agent Who, man. That card is so funny.
All right, it actually brings up an interesting point. So I want you to bring up Agent Who Man here, and there's if you look at Agent Who Man, and once I can bring it up myself, give me a second because I'm on something here. It might take me a second. Oh no, I had it up and then I lost it. Oh, here we go. If you look at his comments about Agent Who Man, he actually talks about. Uh, he says, I think this is for Keyforge second wave because he wasn't sure, and so he's done a few now. And he says, like an Easter egg, introducing the new faction ahead of time. And I was like, oh, that's kind of interesting. And I never really noticed when I looked at Agent Who Man because I was mostly focused on the funny Mars creatures here. That he actually does do an Easter egg to Star
Oh,
Alliance here, and this wasn't one of the cards that I initially thought of. I don't know if you thought of as being a reference to the Star Alliance, and that the Martians are trying to fit in and potentially sneak on board one of their ships.
you know what's even funnier is that it's like they're doing like the surveillance as Star Alliance is showing up because they leave, right? Like so it's like one of my old like things I wrote, like I made a pass at the idea that Star Alliance, as they were coming in, the Martians were leaving. They're like, we're out of here because they don't like something about the way Star Alliance works, right? And this is kind of like, it made me think like it's like they did their research on these Star Alliance people, and they don't like what they're bringing to the table with this idea of like unity, or this idea or whatever it is that the Star Alliance brings. And I wonder if in the future we're going to see Mars come back and like basically have Star Alliance as their main like
Rival, yeah.
rival. Yeah, because like I don't think these guys are going to get along great because they have very different ideas, I think. It's like
I would say like complete opposite, polar opposite. Yeah, Unity versus just all about Martians only.
yeah, it's like when you have a house that's like, I want to be Martian only, and you need to be Martians or die, and then you have a house that goes, we'll take everybody, we're cool like that. I think there's a general like dynamic that is a difference to why, you know, maybe Mars took off for a bit, and they're like, okay, these Star Alliance guys have a lot of people, we need more numbers. Let's go like reproduce and like get ready. And when they come back, it's going to be a crazy invasion. Like they're coming back with a lot of juice because they know Star Alliance is here, and they have the ability to get off the Crucible, right? Just like Mars, right? They're the two houses that actually have space technology. So, and maybe Logos, you could argue, has it too, but they don't really define it or talk about it. But you know that the Martians and the Star Alliance are basically outside people coming in, right? So a lot of room for fight there. Maybe that's the airborne, when the airborne take up, because maybe that's when the Crucible puts their air force in play. I don't know. Like lots of cool ideas, lots of things that could happen. So FFG, that one's free for you.
And again, I say this on almost every cast: is let us know in the comments why you think the Martians disappeared. Do you think Jupiter is on the right track? And if so, what was the main reason? Was it for the things that we've mentioned, or was it for something that we didn't catch? And that's the fun thing about the Crucible is there's lots of different options, and it's your own imagination for why things have happened, right? So.
Absolutely, you got to learn to love the game, right? when you
Um,
when you play cards,
oh,
you want to make sure there's a story with them, right? Like you want to it makes you feel better about your deck and it makes you like enjoy your deck more. So it makes sense to me.
so speaking about a story, segueing into the card itself, Martian Generosity, it's a lot of competitive and casual players' favorite cards. Some people absolutely hate when it goes off because, oh boy, are you ever in trouble. So looking at the card, it's a Martian card. It has 1 amber, which is going to be annoying when you find out the details of what it does. It's called Martian Generosity. Action card, play. Lose all your amber and draw 2 cards for each lost amber. Um, so that means without anything else on the board, you're going to get at least 2 cards for playing this 1 card, which is already an awesome effect. Most of the time, you're probably going to have 2 to 3 other pieces of amber, and potentially, if your opponent didn't get a chance to stop the trigger, you're going to have 5 or more amber. And the well-known combo here is it's going to go into that, and you potentially might be able to key cheat with a specific card. I'll leave it for the viewers who may not know what that card is. Try to find out the combination. But awesome card. Now, what do you think, Jupiter? Out of our normal scoring system, would you give the card flavor versus the art itself?
I think that this is actually interesting because I don't know how to think of this because when you think of Martian generosity in a vacuum and you think of like lose all your ember, draw 2 cards for each loss, it's like there's a give and take there, right? Like you're giving your ember and you're getting 2 cards back. So like what is this Martian really giving this guy other than a face sore and this guy looking like he's dumping money, you know, towards the thing. So I'm guessing that this guy, I still have to think this guy is buying something off of this Martian, and he doesn't like the price. Like I guess that's where my mindset has to go with this art in order to make it relate. And that's not a stretch, I think. So I think that all in all, like the idea that they get a piece of amber and they're giving 2 things to the guy, right, back and forth. So yeah, I guess it's okay. Like uh, I guess it works pretty good. I think I'd give it like an 8.
All right, I'm gonna give, and it's the end of our season. I This is my story behind this one. I think everything about this card correlates. I think of Martian generosity. I look at the art. I look at what the effect does, and I think this is a perfect example in my view. And the reason why, as you look at this card. And you read the flavor text. Forgive me, I misspoke. 30, no, 40% discount, like I've mentioned before. This Martian is, no matter what amount of amber he's giving, he's like, here, I got 2 pieces of amber from that guy over there I just shot. And he's like, give me this product. And the guy's like, hey, no, it costs like 4 or 5 or whatever the price is. The Martian doesn't have enough. But the Martian generosity, he's so furious at this person talking back to him that he takes him by the tie and he's like, you will give me this product, basically. And he doesn't want his amber back, but now he's getting even more of whatever he's asking for than he initially asked, because this guy just wants this Martian, this Mars creature, out of his shop. And he's like, he gets to keep all the amber in the end. But now the Martian's making out like a bandit, and is gonna come out with even more stuff than he initially thought. So depending on how much amber he had, he's gonna come out with twice this amount of items. And so for that reason, I give this card a perfect 10. And I know it sounds crazy, but I think it's because I love the art. I do love the card, and I love the concept so much that everything to me ties in for this one.
I think your mindset has been abducted. But other than that, I guess like I feel you. Like I just don't think it's a perfect correlation, but I understand that you're being generous in this aspect of it, and I know that lots of amber could be used for keys or something. So I can see how your mentality has been abducted a little bit here.
Hmm. I don't know what you're getting at, but you do understand that Martians are the only race, right?
Brobnar, sorry.
So no, that's pretty much it that I got for this one. So I hope that everyone has a good holidays here, and that you enjoyed what Jupiter and myself have covered. So we tried to cover, as you can see, we covered a different artist, and we covered each of the 9 houses that have been released so far. And I think it almost behooves us to cover the next house that is coming out. The Unfathomable might be one of our next episodes. But let us know what you think of our structure from this season, what you would like to see if you really enjoyed the videos, if you'd like one of your favorite artists covered or an art piece covered. We're pretty much open to everything. And I know both Jupiter and myself have been having like a ton of fun with this, and that's why we've been doing it and loving it. So probably in the new year we'll truck along and keep going. I know that it's just been a blast. So it all depends on what you guys want and going forward what we're gonna go with. So.
Yeah, and I want to say this is the last of our first season, I guess we'll call it. But the response to our last video with the community team logos and things like that was awesome. So thank you for all that, and thank you for submitting and giving us something to talk about. It was probably one of the most fun episodes I think that we've done as far as for me and Dominic. The first go on that we were at like an hour and a half, going on 2 hours, like, and we were like, man, we still have like a bunch of more logos to do, and that's why we had to go back and kind of get our thoughts thing, because there's so many things we wanted to talk about, but like we realized that we were stretching and we wanted to get everybody in, as many people in as possible, so we had to limit ourselves grossly on that. So if you guys want to, we could go back and do a more extended approach to these logos, or whatever, like just let us know. But your support has been thankful. I thank you for everything you've done with the KFPL. As you know, the KFPL has wrapped up, and we have a champion, a grand champion in Vincent Martain Kiwi from the Hamburg Atlanteans. So that has been awesome. If you need to watch any of that stuff, it's on the YouTube channel that you find this on all the time as well. So go check that out. We do have an event coming up on January 9th. It is the first event of the new year for us. $10 entry. There's going to be prizes and whatnot comparable to what we've been doing. And if we hit 128, there'll be extra fun. So let's do that. We're trying for 150 to be our regular goal, but 128 is our next milestone objective. And so far we've hit milestone objectives almost every tournament. So that's been great. And if you didn't know, the Doctor Without Borders, we raised $1,400 for them total. So that was awesome. That was a lot to do with the person who won that tournament actually donated his winnings, and that was Erie Daly from the Hamburg Atlanteans. Common theme today. But those guys have been great for the Keyforge community. They are definitely one of the best teams in the world, without a doubt. And I'm looking forward to seeing what season 2 brings. And if you want more details about that, tune into the YouTube page. We have a news section, and we'll be giving out more news as we get more to put out. So that's my pitch for the episode, and I got nothing else other than to wish you and your family a happy holidays, and however you spend them, and know that my family sends all our love to you guys, as we hope that you have a wonderful season, wrapping up a very crappy year. So thank you.
And I don't have. I think you covered all the bases. Other than that, yeah, just keep safe, everyone. Enjoy. Keep forward. Keep on trucking along and enjoying time with each other. And we'll be back in 2021, and it can only go up from here.
Right, organized play is coming back. Hopefully by March, we can cross our fingers. Right, we'll see.
That,
But
I think that's a totally different episode.
yeah, it's a
Yeah.
totally different topic. But either way, we say thanks, and Harlan says Merry Christmas. And say Merry Christmas. No? Okay. He's just gonna be angry that he doesn't have the right phone he wants. So we'll say goodbye as I go deal with this meltdown. Thanks.
Bye, guys.